So I was just starting to do my makeup and get ready, and I thought I would just turn the camera on because I've been having a lot of thoughts lately. There's been a lot going on. I'm just gonna word vomit because I love these kinds of videos. I love when people just talk and they don't really have, you know, a kind of plan of what they're gonna say, and they just kind of like spew their thoughts. Like, they're my favorite kinds of videos to watch. So I'm just gonna do my makeup while I chat with you guys. Also, I'm having some kind of like allergic reaction, or else I did something in my sleep. I don't know which it is, but it's not as bad now. But I've had this like really extreme red mark on my face. It's been going down. It's a lot better today now than it has been, but I feel like it's a bit of a reaction, so that is great. I'm just using the Essence Glow Boosting primer, and I am tan, so we are 2 different shades at the moment. But basically I want to chat to you guys about the pill, about my PCOS and all that good stuff, antidepressants maybe as well. I'm just going in with the Inglot Under Eye Concealer in shade 95, and I'm just going to use this for my lids. So basically I get a lot of questions from you guys quite regularly asking me to talk about my PCOS, because I've not spoke about it since I did that video nearly a year ago now. I was diagnosed with PCOS, and I kind of touched on this on my Instagram stories, but basically the only reason I've not spoke about it is because I am not coping. I am not coping at all. Where is my bloody powder? Are you serious? So before I talk about my PCOS, I just want to talk about the pill for a minute. So another question I get asked, because I think like over a year ago, it must be nearly 2 years ago now, I did a video talking about my experience with the pill and how negatively it impacted me. I was on Dianet for 5 years, and then I came off it, and I was off it for like over a year. But I went back on the pill, I want to say quite a while ago now, maybe like 6 months, definitely 6 months anyway. So there was quite a few reasons as to why I went back on the pill. So I went on Microlite. So I went to the doctor and I basically told him about my experience with it with Dianet, and I said how I wanted a pill that wasn't going to have such an effect on me, and he basically said that Microlite was the best option. I'm just going in with the Carnival palette here, and I'm just going to be using this shade which is called Shuffle, and it's just a mustard color. I'm just going to be putting that all over the lid. But yeah, he basically said that Microlite would be the best option for me to go on, because it's basically like the lowest dose of hormones in a pill that you can get, whereas like Dianet, which I was on, is a very high dose of hormones. So I was feeling a bit hopeful for it. So the reasons I went back on the pill was, one, contraception. So obviously I am in a long-term relationship now, and for the first like 8 or 9 months of our relationship we were just using condoms, but we had like a few instances with condoms where like they either broke or they came off or whatever, and he was kind of worrying a bit, because obviously I'm not trying to have a baby up in here. I'm 22 years of age. I'm trying to get myself sorted first, my head sorted, before I go bringing another human being child into this world. I do not want to have a baby right now, so obviously contraception is very important. So I kind of just decided that I'd try the pill, because it's quite hard when you're in a long-term relationship and obviously you are having sex regularly and you're just having sex with the same person, so of course STIs are nothing to worry about. And then also, because I have PCOS, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, and this is where I find it so frustrating, is that like, you know, when you go to the doctor and you get diagnosed with PCOS, literally the only thing they recommend to you is go on the pill, go on the pill will help you, the pill will get rid of all your problems, the pill will give you regular periods. But they won't give you regular periods, because the pill gives you fake periods. You do not get a real period when you're on the pill. And I'm just like, why don't you give us more information? Like, why aren't you more helpful? Like, actually no, going on the pill doesn't help, because it's just like hiding up all the things that is actually going on in your body temporarily. It's not helping long term. Oh my god, I'm so fed up of doctors. But yeah, anytime I brought PCOS up to anybody, like, you know, in the medical industry, they would just say the pill. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna listen to the doctors. I'm gonna try it for contraception purposes for my PCOS. And yeah, they were my main 2 reasons for going back on the pill and starting a new pill. And you know what, at the start of taking the pill, it was actually alright. Like, I didn't find it was impacting me the way Dianet was. And you know the way people say say like, oh, you've got to find a pill that suits you or a form of contraception that suits you, and it was grand. But now that I've been on it quite a while, I need some sunshine in my life, so I'm going to put it on my eyelids, and hopefully that will bring some sunshine back into my brain, because God, Lord knows we need it right now. We need it. I'm just going to go in now with the colour Moony, and it's just this like shimmery colour. It's kind of got like a yellow sparkle to it, and I'm just going to pop this kind of all over the lid. I love this combination together. Like, it's such a pretty combination, and it's so easy to do. Like, you're literally just using two colours. So I also ended up going back on antidepressants around the same time that I went on the pill, and again I did a video talking about my experience on antidepressants, but I was just struggling a bit, and I think it maybe have been related to the pill, but look, we're just gonna sip our tea and pretend that it's not, because you know, the pill is great and all that. And I just decided that I'd try a different kind of antidepressant, because before I was on venlafaxine for years and I had a really bad experience on that, so I said I'd try a different kind. And I decided on Prozac. Again, this was kind of like my doctor's recommendation, and I just decided to go like on a really low dose. So I just went on like a 20 milligram dose, so the lowest is 10 and then 20, so it's not high dose at all. Whereas when I was on venlafaxine, I was on like the highest dose. Like at one point I was taking 300 milligrams a day, which is just crazy when it doesn't help you, basically. The Prozac I stopped taking about a week or so ago, because I realized it's not been helping me at all, and if something is not helping me, what is the point in taking it? And this leads me on to my final kind of point of telling you guys all this. So I've come to the conclusion that there is something not right in my body and my brain, and I've come to this conclusion because I've tried everything and what I've been recommended, and nothing has been helping me, and if anything, it has been making things a lot worse for me. So when I got diagnosed with PCOS, I never went to see a specialist, or I never went kind of further on it, because I was in such shock, and it took me so long. It's basically taken me till now to like fully process it. Like, it was such a hard thing to get told you have. And also another reason why I've not spoken about this sooner is because I had somebody who I know personally make a comment about me uploading that video on my PCOS, saying like, oh, what is her problem? You think she just get over it? Like, it's not even that big of a deal. Like, everyone can just live a normal life who has PCOS. It doesn't even affect them. And it really upset me. Like, it upset me a lot when I heard that somebody had been saying this about me who I know, because it just shows like the misinformation and the miseducation that there is out there around PCOS, and how little it's spoken about. And I think that's also why I was kind of struggling, because it's just not spoken about very often, and people then have these opinions about it when it really does affect you, and it can affect you a lot. God knows it's affecting me. It actually like makes me so angry how people can just make these comments. I'm going in with the MAC Studio Fix Fluid in the shade NC30. This is the shade I use when I'm tanned, and it's like the perfect match for me, and just my beauty blender. But yeah, the way like people can just make these comments, and like, you know, it's like, I'm sorry that you're so healthily okay and that your ovaries are working okay, because I can't relate. So I feel like I kind of just like clammed up for a while after I had heard that somebody had been speaking about me like that, especially about PCOS, because it's something that I have been really trying to deal with now for like a year nearly. But anyways, I've been noticing, and this is something that I've been noticing for as long as I can remember, like, you know, no matter what I tried, like antidepressants haven't helped me. Like, anything I've tried, like in just day-to-day life, like, you know, taking care of yourself and your body in general, I've tried. But like the week and a half, even 2 weeks before my period, so like half of the month, like I just plummet, I just crash. I can't, my head goes into such a different place, and like such a dark place, and it's my hormones. Like, I can tell that it's so heavily related to my hormones, like my fatigue. Like, I get such bad pain where my ovaries are. I also get the worst headaches, like all month long, like headaches where I cannot do anything until the headache goes. And a lot of the time I just have to end up taking painkillers, and I know a lot of people are against painkillers, but I do, because it's the only thing that helps me a lot of the time. So I decided that I'm going to be going to see a specialist. So I'm going to be going to see an endocrinologist, I think that's the one. And basically they specialize in hormones. Like, when a doctor does your bloods, and first of all, let's just say, well, my experience with doctors and PCOS is absolute shocking, just oh, ridiculous. Like, they don't have a clue and they don't really seem to care. But when a doctor does your bloods, they're very Mickey Mouse bloods, like, you know, they can't go into the level and the depth that a specialist can. So an endocrinologist, or however you pronounce that goddamn word, can kind of take your bloods and really see what's going on in your body, and you know, where your hormones are and the levels they are and where they should be, and you know, if anything is kind of causing disruption in your body. There are glands all over our bodies, and glands are what produce hormones, and you know, if there is something wrong with your hormones or your glands, that can have an effect on like your whole body. Like, it's crazy what hormones do to you and us and our body. They also test for your thyroid, because my mum's side of the family, there are quite a few people who suffer with their thyroids, and your thyroid is another thing which releases hormones, and if your thyroid is high or low, it can have a huge impact on your body. But yeah, I've just noticed the place I always end up in my head, which is such like a dark, hopeless place, is not right, and antidepressants aren't helping. So it's not something in my brain, so it must be something in my body, because it's not, I cannot keep living like this basically. Like, so that's why I've decided I need to go to a specialist. Like, it's actually crippling, like what I go through every month. But that's kind of why I never spoke about my PCOS online ever since I made the video, because I was just trying to figure out what's going on, and I realized that nothing I do is helping. So I need to see somebody who can hopefully give me some answers. And also thought it would be good to speak out about this, because if you're also really struggling with your PCOS and your hormones, because my hormones are having such a bad impact on me and my brain, these specialists can like level them out. So if just say one of your hormones are way too low and another one's way too high, they can get them at the level that they're supposed to be and like give you kind of tablets to help. If I'm being honest with you guys, like, this is the first time that I've actually felt hopeful since I got diagnosed with PCOS, because I feel like my hormones have been having such a negative impact on me and my body and my brain for so many years. And now that I've found a specialist who is actually, you know, specializes with hormones and stuff, I'm feeling hopeful, and like there is going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, because like the last couple of weeks I had a really hard time of it. Like, it was really hard. I got to a really low place in myself and was just feeling like this is just going to be it, and like I was just so drained and exhausted and in pain like every bloody month. This is another thing, like something that my mum and sister actually pointed out to me, but I don't know if any of you guys had to get the HPV vaccine, but it's a vaccine for cervical cancer, and I was the first year, like I was in first year, so I think I was 12 or 13 when I got it. We were the first year that they were giving these vaccines out to. I'm not going to do contour just because of that like little rash on my side of my face, and it's currently clearing up, so I don't want to aggravate him. I want to leave him doing his thing so he can pack his bags and leave my face ASAP. That would be amazing. But yeah, I was the first year that them vaccines were given to, and I think it was 3 different vaccines I had to get over the course of a number of weeks. But apparently that vaccine has had such a negative effect on a lot of women who have gotten it. Like, some people have even ended up in wheelchairs after because of what it's done to their body. Like, people complaining of like chronic fatigue, extreme pain. Like, there's this leg pain that I've been getting for as long as I can remember, and I obviously used to call it them growing pains. Like, I talked about this on my Instagram before again, but because it's that kind of feeling that you get when you're growing, you know, when you're a child. But I still get them to this day, and I haven't grown in years. Like, I actually don't remember the last time I've grown, but I will still get these pains on like a weekly basis, and they are so painful. Like, I cannot move, I cannot do anything until this pain goes. Like, it literally feels like somebody is sticking 20 knives into my legs, like just constantly. Like, and it's not restless leg syndrome, it's not any of them kind of conditions that you guys kind of pointed out to me before. It's nothing like that. And I've seen that people who were also given this vaccine like complaining of really strange pains and stuff like that even as they got older. And something else that a lot of women were complaining about after that vaccine over the years was hormone problems and fertility problems, and they're 2 things that I now am suffering with regards to the PCOS. And I've literally only heard about this week. This is why I want to word vomit. Like, I have so many thoughts in my head that now I'm thinking did that vaccine have a really bad effect on me and my body? Because that would make so much sense. Like, even that pain I have, I do feel crazy with it, because I'm like, no matter how much I look up or anything, like, I can't find what the hell it is, or like find an answer for it. And then I'm just like, what is wrong with like the world, and like, why do they give vaccines to people when they don't even know what's in the vaccine themselves? Like, what like, we're not guinea pigs. Like, they don't even know the effects and the outcomes that these things can have on people, but yet they're just like, here, take this, it'll help with this, but it could give you 100 other problems over here, but they don't tell you about them 100 other problems they could give you. Like, I'm just like, oh my god, like, I don't trust the world. I don't trust the world. I'm just going in with the Essence Choose Your Glow palette, and I'm going to be using the darker shade over here, Summer Glow. This is the one I'm going to be using here. And of course, I'll share with you guys like anything, if I hear anything or get any kind of results or answers, I will of course let you guys know how I got on, because I know how lonely of a thing it can be to have when you don't have anyone to speak with about, because like, there's no one in my life who I know personally who has it or anything like that, so you can feel very alone. So I feel like that's why the internet is a great place. I'm just going in with the Kat Von D blush in Foxglove. It's a really pretty colour. So yeah, I'm just going to go with blush and highlight today, just because of my little reaction, whatever my face is doing at the moment, I don't know. Back to the pill for a minute. Like, this pill definitely suits me a lot better than the Dianet did, like 100%. Like, I don't have the same level of effects that I did when I was on Dianet, but it's definitely still not agreeing with my body. I just feel like the pill is just such a nightmare. Like, honestly, like, it's so frustrating that there's not like a method of contraception that you can get that doesn't have such a negative impact on you. I know the coil doesn't release hormones, but I'm terrified of getting the coil. Like, I don't think I would be able, no, I definitely wouldn't be able to get the coil at this point in my life. Like, I'm too scared to get it, and I've heard too many horror stories about it. Like, even you guys have sent me messages and comments about your experiences with it, and I know some people have really good experiences, but I would just be that bitch who would just like have an awful time with it, because this just happens with everything I touch. For my lips, I'm going to go in with the Kat Von D Liquid Lippy in Blossom. It's like a really nice nude lippy. To give you guys a little summary, I went back on antidepressants and I've now came back off them because they weren't doing anything for me, and basically I'd done a lot of reading up about Prozac and I read a lot of negative reviews, and I wasn't finding myself feeling better on them, so I was like, what is the point of being on them if they're not doing anything? Went back on the pill, tried a new pill. It's definitely agreeing with me better than the other pill, but I still don't know, and I'm gonna wait to see what the specialist has to say about whether I should or shouldn't be on the pill. Still getting such bad period pains. I got like a really bad pain in my ovary there like 2 weeks ago, and it lasted hours, and it felt like the feeling I had before when I had cysts burst, so I think that's what it was. Such bad headaches all the time, really bad fatigue. To be honest with you, like, the actual like hair and stuff aspect of PCOS doesn't affect me as much as it does other people, and I think that's because like I've just been hairy for as long as I can remember, and I've just been removing it for as long as I can remember, so I don't really mind it because I can remove it. So, you know, if I start seeing hair, I just get rid of it, and then I don't really think twice about it. So that's something else I get asked a lot about PCOS, is like, what do you do about all the hair? To be honest, I just shave everywhere. I've told you guys this before. I shave my face. I use my little face shaver for my face, and then for the rest of my body I use olive oil and a man's razor. Yeah, like, I'm struggling a lot more with like the emotional, hormonal well-being side of the PCOS, and just feeling like a normal functioning woman, because I really don't at the moment. I feel like it's just important to say, like, you know, if you're struggling, whether it be with like your PCOS or like your anxiety or depression, because like anxiety has been something that I've been suffering with a lot lately. Like, I've been so anxious, and I'm so anxious about things returning back to normal so quick. Like, I don't know, my brain's just not handling things very well. But it's good to state that, like, if you're struggling, like, there could be like a deeper reason behind it. Like, I feel like there's something health-wise that's really having a negative impact on my body and brain, and that it's not just mental health at this point, because I know I suffer with my mental health and I have for a very long time, but your hormones also have a huge part to play on your mental well-being. So if you are struggling mentally, I would really look into being able to maybe see a specialist, because they can do tests on your body and like really get down to the root of things. Because I also feel like if you know like why you're feeling a certain way or what's causing it, like that in itself can make you feel a lot better. Like if someone was able to tell me now, right, the reason you're feeling the way you are, Jessica, is because this hormone is up here and this one's down here, I'd be like, oh my god, like I already feel so much better, because it explains things and it doesn't make you feel so crazy and insane. Because I for sure have been feeling like that quite a lot. But you're not, like, you're just a human, and like everybody suffers with different things, whether it be mentally or physically, and maybe sometimes that's a combination of both. The last couple of weeks, like, I've been in a really low place, and I've just been feeling really lost and kind of hopeless with the whole thing and how I've been feeling. But you know, I just have to keep reminding myself that I will get answers, hopefully, and there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, and there always is, and like there always is a reason for everything happening the way it does. And I'm just trying to remind myself that, like, and one day we'll look back and, you know, it'll all make sense. Just to also be kind to each other. Like, you know, when I had that person make that comment about my PCOS, I was like, fucking hell. And it really affected me now. I am a sensitive person, but I feel like people, like, they don't ever take a second to think how something may be affecting somebody else. And just because you don't have it and you've never experienced it doesn't mean that it's not a real thing and it's not really affecting somebody. Because, you know, I feel like when people, it's just so ignorant, like when people can make statements and like they're so correct and they know what they're talking about when they really haven't a clue. Because if you've never had to experience something, nor do you know anyone close to you who has, how can you speak about the matter? You can't, like, you don't have a clue. But if you have PCOS, I just want to say that we will get there, we will find answers. You're not crazy, you know, you're not alone. Most importantly, you're not alone. I completely understand what you're going through, and just know that you need to be kind to yourself, because, you know, your body isn't working the way it should be, and that in itself means you need to just take a little more time with it and give it a little bit more love and a little bit more care, because it's doing its best. But yeah, that is my little ramble today. Also, just to say that if you're on antidepressants, like, be proud of it. Like, don't be ashamed to ever be on antidepressants. Like, if they're helping you, like, the only reason, like, I went back on them after coming off them, and like I felt so good after coming back off them, but then I was struggling again, and now I feel like it has a lot of a link to do with my PCOS and my hormones. Because even if everything is going grand in my life and there's nothing that's causing it, I could still be a little shell in the corner of the room struggling to do anything or have any motivation or anything, and like nothing, you know, necessarily is causing it. So I feel like there's definitely something going on in my body. But if like you take antidepressants and they help you and they level things out, like, fucking good, like, and be happy and proud that there is something. Like, if I go to this specialist and they tell me to take this pill and that pill and that pill and it helps, I bloody will, and I will for the rest of my life if it helps. Like, don't ever let anybody shame you for taking something that helps you and makes life that little bit more manageable for you, because nobody knows what you're going through, nobody knows how you're feeling, only you do. I've made an absolute arse of my eyeshadow from my bloody mascara. Can you not? Like, that's just rude. Oh, whatever. Can we be arse today? No, we can't. I actually don't know if I'm even going to upload this video. Like, this is like such a ramble. Like, I feel like I'm not even making any sense. Like, I've just gone from one subject to the next and the next. But yeah, that was my sad girl diaries. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe brought one of you guys a bit of comfort to know you're not alone. That is it today, okay? I'm gonna love you and leave you. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. You honestly are my bestest friends in the whole world, and I'd be so lost without you. Like, you've no idea. I cannot wait to see you all in my next video, and I love you all so very much. Bye, friends.